Hey, boys and girls, how are you? I hope you had an awesome weekend and you're having a great morning so far. Today, we're going to be continuing on in our historical fiction books, and we're going to be thinking about developing big ideas from small details. Today's focus, I want to teach you that when you are thinking, talking, or writing about big ideas, as you are doing today, it's wise to lodge your big ideas in small moments, small details, and small objects. Many details are symbolic of the big idea. We're going to think back to Tiger Rising. What were a few of the small details or objects that connected to the big idea? If you remember, Kate DiCamillo talked a lot about a suitcase. The main part of the book was focused on a tiger locked in a cage and the rash on Rob's legs. Remember in this story, our main character, Rob, would not talk about his feelings regarding the death of his mother, his feelings towards his father, and the incredible sadness he was feeling. The author Kate DiCamillo used these symbolic small objects and small details to help us understand the big idea. And one of the big ideas that came out in that book was it's really important to let your feelings out, which is how he left all of his feelings in a suitcase and would not open the suitcase. He had these rashes that finally started to disappear when he let some of that sadness rise and come out, right? And a tiger locked in a cage, kind of going back and forth, not being able to be free. All of those things led to letting your feelings out. And Kate DiCamillo did a great job with using these objects and small details to get that point across to us. We're going to be focusing on chapter 5 of Number the Stars. And we're going to particularly pay attention to the scene where the German soldiers barged into the Johanssons' apartment looking for the Rosens. So here are some of the important details from that scene, and I want you to try to visualize this as I'm going through it. Late at night, the soldiers arrive at the Johanssons' apartment looking for the Rosens and demanded that they search the apartment. As they are approaching Amory's bedroom, she urges Ellen to take off her Star of David necklace. Ellen could not get it off. She could not undo that clasp. So Amory rips that necklace off of her neck. Amory removed the necklace just in time as the soldiers entered her bedroom. Amory then crumples up the necklace tightly in her hand. The only items in the bedroom were the chest and the blue decorated trunk, and we learned about that trunk earlier on. As the soldiers ordered the girls to the living room, they became angry when Amory tried to answer for Ellen. Ellen lied and told the soldiers her name was Lise Johansson. The soldiers grabbed Ellen's hair and noticed that Ellen had dark hair, while Amory and Kirsty had blonde hair. Mr. Johansson quickly found photos from the family photograph album of his 3 daughters as infants, with their names written under each photo. One of the photos was an infant with dark, wispy hair. So I want you to think about this scene for a second and try to get a picture in your mind as this is happening. It's pretty scary, actually. So let's think about how we can think deeply about important passages in a book. So here are some guiding questions to help us with this thinking. What is significant about this part of the book? How does this part fit with an earlier part? How does it connect to what the whole story is really about? Why might the author have written in this particular way, including these details or words? And what is the character learning about life, the world? What am I learning? I want you to stop the video and jot about this particular part with these questions in mind. You may jot all of these questions. You may pick a few that really stand out to you and jot about those questions. But let's get some thinking down on either a Post-it note or your notebook about this scene and how these guiding questions can help us with jotting. So let's think about what could this part really be about. And I'm sure you came up with a lot of different ideas and you jotted a lot about a lot of the different questions. But one of the ideas that really stand out to me is friends take care of friends. This connects to the part of how Amory removed the Jewish star necklace from her friend Ellen's neck in order to protect her. When I think about an earlier part of the text, it also connects to when they ran into the soldiers on the street corner and Amory again spoke for Ellen in order to protect her because she knew the danger Ellen could be in. So both of these parts to me show friends take care of friends. That's one idea I'm getting so far. So now let's think about any other small details or objects or symbols that carry these big ideas. How about the Star of David necklace? To me, that carries a pretty big idea. The necklace symbolizing how Amory is becoming braver and braver. She first started to show her bravery in the earlier part of the book, and now she's really showing more bravery. She will stop at nothing to protect her friend. She stands united to protect the Jews from the German soldiers. She's not letting that go. Another object that seemed like it carried a pretty big idea for me is the pink frosted cupcakes. What about those? Those were mentioned several times in the story as well. The cupcakes symbolizing what the characters couldn't have anymore. If you remember, in order to make those pink frosted cupcakes, you would need milk, you would need eggs, you would need flour, right? Those are all the things that they no longer could get anymore. So it really talked about things that they couldn't have right now. Are there more small moments that hold big ideas? What are we thinking? What about the photograph? The blue decorated trunk, the dark hair. I underlined those parts when I was going through the details with you to show you that the photograph, did bring some significance. It was Mrs. Johansson's way of showing the soldiers that Ellen could be part of their family. The blue decorated trunk, that would symbolize what Amory's mom was doing for Lise. Remember, Lise was supposed to get married to Peter, but then she passes away. And so she no longer can give her this decorated blue trunk that Amory's mom was adding things for her marriage. What about the dark hair? That kind of goes along with the photograph of Mrs. Johansson trying to prove that Ellen could be a part of their family, that dark, curly, wispy hair. We can also think about, would you have been scared if you were Ellen, or also if you were Amory? I can see from both perspectives, Ellen being petrified because she's Jewish, but Amory, knowing how she was trying to protect Ellen, was also putting herself at risk. This makes me think that another big idea could be, it's not just parents who are looking out for the Rosens, it's the kids, like Amory. Everybody's kind of working together as a team to protect the Jewish people. When Ellen can't undo that necklace because her fingers are frozen up with fear, Amory does it anyway. She jerks the necklace off of Ellen. Even though Amory was frozen, Amory was protecting her and saving her from the Nazi soldiers. So if you see how all these different parts and objects and small details carry a lot of big ideas and a lot of meaning in this story. So for today's assignment, you're going to do some of this work that we just practiced with Number the Stars. In your e-reader's notebook, you will be jotting about your independent historical fiction book. Not Number the Stars. You're going to work on your historical fiction book. Now, I know some of you might be on your second historical fiction book, and that's fine. So you can decide which book you want to focus on. What are the big ideas you are getting from small details and objects or symbols? So we're focusing on those small details today, objects and symbols. You're going to read slides 18 and 19, which is again a reminder of what today's lesson was about and some charts to help you. You're going to jot your ideas on slide 20. Remember in your entry to include specific details from your book and state the big idea. Remember you're doing this in an entry format and not just a bulleted list. Okay, I hope you have a great time with this lesson and have a great day. Awesome job.